Hello, welcome to our Amour stories.
Oliver Smith was the owner of a successful factory, a British man who had built an empire from the ground up in the heart of New York City. He was a no-nonsense businessman with a reputation for his sharp wit and shrewd decisions. However, Oliver's life was about to take an unexpected turn when he met Lily Davidson, known to her friends as Sandy Williams. It all started one sunny afternoon in New York City, when Oliver and Sandy found themselves at the Department of Motor Vehicles, both there to take their driving tests. Oliver, confident in his knowledge of the rules of the road, didn't expect much trouble passing the test. Sandy, on the other hand, had a few nerves about the whole ordeal. She couldn't help but overhear Oliver talking to the clerk about how important it was for him to pass this test for work. Sandy, always resourceful and quick-thinking, decided to strike up a conversation with Oliver, hoping he might share some of the answers to the test. Oliver, smitten by her charm, was willing to help. Little did he know, Sandy's clever maneuvering would get him fired from his office job when they were both caught cheating. Despite the rocky start, destiny had other plans for Oliver and Sandy. They bumped into each other again a few weeks later, and sparks flew. Oliver was intrigued by Sandy's eccentricity and her passion for life. Their first date was at Sandy's apartment, where Oliver discovered her unusual lifestyle as a vegetarian who loved to experiment with exotic recipes. He found her quirks endearing, and the delicious dishes she prepared only added to her allure. Just as they were getting to know each other better, an unexpected visitor named Daniel showed up at Sandy's doorstep, pleading to stay in her apartment. Sandy, always direct and unapologetic, promptly packed his bags and sent him on his way. Oliver was curious and asked, "Why did you ask Daniel to leave your house?" Sandy explained that she had a special treatment program scheduled for October, which would take a month to diagnose and treat. Oliver, though still missing his job, agreed to spend November with her, hoping it would help him unwind from the stress of work. He even arranged for his colleague to send him a telegram a week into November as an excuse to leave Sandy's place and return to work. As the days of November passed, Oliver found himself falling deeply in love with Sandy. It was an entirely new experience for him, and he cherished every moment. Despite her unconventional ways, he couldn't get enough of her. Then, one day, Samuel Bennett, an old friend of Sandy's, appeared on the scene. Oliver couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy, fearing that Samuel might be a rival for Sandy's affection. To Oliver's relief, Sandy explained that Samuel was only trying to introduce her to his fiancée, Emily. However, as Oliver spent more time with Sandy, he began to notice signs that something was amiss. He confided in one of Sandy's friends, who confirmed his worst fears. Sandy was gravely ill, and time was running out. Oliver was devastated but resolved to make Sandy break her self-imposed rules. Oliver believed he had succeeded when Sandy admitted to her friend that she had fallen in love with him. But she still insisted on keeping her illness a secret, wanting Oliver to remember her as she was, not as she would become. As November came to an end, Sandy secretly prepared Oliver's bag for him to leave. Tears welled up in her eyes as she promised herself that he would never forget her. December arrived, and with it, the inevitable. Sandy's condition worsened, and on her deathbed, she whispered her love for Oliver. Oliver was heartbroken, but grateful for the time they had together. Sandy passed away, leaving behind beautiful memories that would stay with Oliver forever. In the end, Oliver couldn't forget Sandy, just as she had hoped. He cherished the time they spent together, holding on to the memory of their unconventional love story, a love that had blossomed in the midst of unexpected circumstances and had left an indelible mark on his heart. Next story, then had always been a creature of habit, living a life defined by routine and predictability. That was until the day he encountered a woman who was unlike anyone he had ever met before, Olivia. She was a whirlwind of chaos and distraction, and it showed vividly when she failed her driving test in a spectacular fashion. Instead of accepting defeat, Olivia became fixated on Ethan. She followed him relentlessly until one day, On the first night of November, when Ethan found himself unexpectedly unemployed, he decided to accept her unusual offer. She promised to break the monotony of his life, and Ethan felt a strange sense of adventure calling to him. The next morning, as Ethan adjusted to his newfound freedom, a man named Jackson arrived at Olivia's doorstep. He greeted Ethan with a smile and said, "Welcome, November Olivia." Over the course of that month, Ethan and Olivia shared countless happy moments, and slowly, but surely, they fell deeply in love. As the days passed, Ethan realized he wanted to spend the rest of his life with this remarkable woman. He mustered the courage and asked Olivia to marry him. But fate had other plans. It was during a routine checkup that Olivia received the devastating news: advanced lymph node cancer. She couldn't bear the thought of watching Ethan endure the pain of losing her, so she made a heart-wrenching decision. She asked him to leave, to spare him the agony of her impending fate. Olivia confided in Jackson about Ethan's proposal, and he mentioned that it wasn't the first time someone had asked her to marry them, hinting at her troubled past. Ethan couldn't stay away for long, though. He surprised Olivia during Thanksgiving vacation, bearing gifts that reminded them of their happiest times together. He pleaded with her to stay together for just one more day, vowing to make every day feel like November. They shared a romantic, bittersweet day, but as morning came, Olivia asked Ethan to leave her apartment. To his dismay, he discovered that all the November posters had been taken down. Olivia walked away, and Ethan chased after her through the streets until they stood on a pedestrian bridge at the entrance to a park. There, under the open sky, Olivia turned to Ethan. "Let me go, Ethan," she said softly. "Keep only the happy memories with you, the ones that will make you smile." With tears in his eyes, Ethan reluctantly agreed. Olivia blindfolded him and led him to a garden. She gave him one last tender kiss before disappearing from his sight. When Ethan removed the blindfold, he stood alone in the garden, and Olivia was gone. He began to reminisce about their first days together, and his eyes filled with tears. Olivia had left him with memories of a magical November, a love story that would stay etched in his heart forever.
Subscribe to our channel to enjoy the most wonderful stories of love and experiences of human emotions.